Welcome everybody to the second session. The first session last week we put some goals together, and so this is a list of all the goals. Just some housekeeping. I have everybody's consent forms, so we're good to go there. And this session, the topic is really going to be about differentiating your goals and organizing, prioritizing them, and just getting a sense of what your goals are so that you can have some different recognitions. Then we could proceed forth in the third session, and that'll be more doing a plan for a goal. So with that said, an icebreaker. What's the kindest act you have ever seen done, either to or by you or another? And I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it and then share whenever.
I have a friend who wrecked her car, and she asked if she could borrow my car, and there's no way, because our car is our that's how we get around and everything. So her friend though stepped up and loaned her family car, and I just thought that was really pretty special, because your car's your lifeline basically. So
I can do it.
I had another car related thing also where I had a flat tire, and my car was parked near Safeway, or I couldn't drive it, I couldn't release the flat or fix it. And a neighbor, Alex, drove out there, got the tire, put the new one on, fixed it all, no questions asked. It was the greatest thing ever. Just did it out of the kindness of his heart.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. Mine is also car related.
What are the chances?
I know. I ran out of gas once in a bad part of town, really bad, scary part of town, and a really sweet couple happened to be there at the right time, and the fellow went out and got gas for me and filled me up, came back and filled me up, and I lived to tell the tale.
That's cool.
Nice, really nice people. I guess I'll throw a non-car related one in there. Last semester I was having a really, really hard time juggling everything, and I'd had a really crappy day, and I came home, my boyfriend had bought me my favorite bag of chips and my favorite kind of wine and a teddy bear, and they were all just sitting there waiting for me. So
Very sweet.
nice.
So what are the thoughts about the car related thing? Why do you think this car related thing came up 3 different times? That's kind of interesting.
Well, as a grown-up, I guess your car is
It's your life.
It's your life.
Yeah.
You need your car. So
Yeah, without a car, it's you're shut down. You're helpless.
Mhm.
Yeah.
we feel so anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt really vulnerable out there without anybody.
So the car thing, something happens and you feel completely vulnerable, or you're down, and then somebody comes along and makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So with the reason I wanted to kind of talk about that is just to link some of those concepts with goal setting. So what might be some parallels between goal setting, achieving goals, and what everybody just shared in terms of feeling, how you feel or how you make others feel, or anything like that? What are some parallels? Any thoughts on that at all?
Well, I was thinking about acknowledgement. So, if you put yourself in any of those bad situations, like the car one, for example, and no one does anything to help you, you feel really invisible. Likewise, if you set a goal for yourself and you accomplish it, but no one's there to support you, and you feel a little invisible that way or unacknowledged that way, it can be pretty devastating. And,
Versus being acknowledged makes you want to accomplish more. So I think.
Yeah, everyone. I know I'm personally very feedback driven, so it's if that occasional good job or something is
Attaboy.
yeah, it goes a long way.
So when you're feeling down, or when you're feeling something and then something good happens, or somebody does something for you, it might not be, something that they think is major, but it might make all the difference in the world to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's kind of, with goal setting, those parallels cross. I guess with parallel they don't cross, but they're parallels, just in the idea that when good things happen or when you achieve something, you're recognized, right? And that could be with a goal or doing something kind, anything like that. So that's why I wanted to kind of just make things a little uplifting and the positivity in that. So with that said, what we're going to do in terms of an activity is all of you have a little sheet that has everybody's goals written on it, no names associated with it, just goals. And we're going to talk about that. So what we're going to do is we are going to differentiate these goals, put them in columns in terms of short-term goals and long-term goals. So go here, long-term. And short, what are we thinking time-wise?
6 months or less.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then over here, just greater than 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go down this list and put some things together. So, enroll in grad school. What are all your thoughts on what column that should go in?
It would. I don't. I guess it would be. I don't know.
Depends on where you're at, probably, but I would think of that as a long-term one.
Yeah. I mean, since it is mine, the financial setbacks are definitely holding back temporarily, but I don't see them holding me back permanently. So.
What are your thoughts, Sarah?
Well, at first I thought they'd be in the short term, but I can see where if you need to get all your ducks in a row and all of that sort of thing, then yeah, long term, I can see that.
Okay. So put it over here. Number 2, start my own burlesque venue.
I think that takes some time.
Yeah, that's long term.
Starting a business.
Yeah, there's a lot.
What goes into all that?
Yeah, it's the
I
lot.
don't really know, but I
Yeah.
assume it'd be.
So if you
do.
didn't know, I guess research, right?
I mean, you do to an extent because you do have to have the fictitious business license.
But for the burlesque thing, so you'd need a venue. You'd need.
Yeah.
What kind of a venue? Is it a restaurant? Are you starting a restaurant?
Yeah,
Like,
I
that'd
would
take a
want to.
long
I would want to
time.
at least serve, maybe food and drink to start, but then alcohol
Just getting a
later.
liquor license itself is forever.
Yeah.
So
You can get a beer and
I'd say-
wine a little bit easier, but then you're limited. So.
Long term.
I'd say
long
long
term.
term. Yes.
Number 3, get married and start a family.
I say long term.
Me too.
I think long term.
Okay. Getting pregnant takes 9 months, I
Mhm.
guess. Well, so,
Well,
Having the baby takes 9 months.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of planning that happens before that too, right?
I mean, anyone could drive to Vegas, I suppose, but
Yeah.
if you're not interested in the big wedding.
yeah. I don't know.
Well, what are your thoughts on that then?
Traditionally, I think it would be a long-term thing, but I guess if you really wanted to just go for it, then
I mean, we're celebrating our 1 year this month, so
yeah.
by that point it will have been a year, 6 months. So I don't think that's a terribly short amount of time, but
My husband and I started dating and got pregnant within 4 months, and we were married in 6 months. So it is doable.
Alrighty.
It goes to show that some things could be long term and short term, but also at the same time.
Exactly.
Totally.
That's a nice observation. I like that. So some things, depending on the circumstances or things that are going on, or maybe resources, they could be both short and long term. So
Yes.
that's a great observation. I would agree. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
And I think that's a great
Absolutely.
point. Yeah.
All right. 4, lose 30 pounds.
I think you could do that within 6 months.
Yeah, it's short term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me why you say that. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's really cool to hear that other people think that's doable within 6 months. I think that's amazing. I've always pictured it as being a long-term goal, but I guess if most of y'all say that could be the short term, then yeah, sure.
Why do you guys say it could be a short term? What are your thoughts?
5 pounds a month.
5 pounds a month, I feel
It's
like
doable.
it's doable.
Yeah.
If that is really a goal that you're like
But you'd have to
accomplishing, you would have to do it though. You would have to
What would we do?
exercise and
Like-
eat clean and
I think you could definitely lose the weight in 6 months. I think what would make it
Keeping it
into a
off
long-term
would be
goal would be
yeah,
keeping it off.
Ah,
True.
good point.
Mm.
I like that.
Because that actually could be really easy, especially if you did some crazy fast or maybe something that wasn't so healthy for your body, which I'm, not recommending.
Right.
But in the sense of being doable, sure.
Mhm.
There are drastic measures, but then keeping it off is definitely the long term. So there you go.
Okay.
So we're gonna put it over here. All right. What about start a new play?
I think you could start that tonight if you wanted to.
I don't know about tonight if I want to. but yeah, I think I could do that within the next 6 months. Start a new play. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so 6, blog successfully for a month.
I say it's short term.
Definitely short term.
7, legitimize my business.
I feel like that's, I want to say it's tough to accomplish, but I think I could do that in 6 months. I think I could do that in a month, in a week, if I really just did it. But
Paperwork is a chore, and you do have to wait for things to be approved. But
Yeah.
if you set aside like one form a week to at least get it submitted, and then wait for approval, I think that would be a good way to chop it up.
yeah,
So whatever the form
but
is.
I think short term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say short term. It's, yeah.
Well, there's 2 steps I need. I already have business cards and I have a website, and so I'm like well into it. But there are 2 major things I need. So
Yeah.
I'm
The-
insured. I mean, I'm really well
Nice.
into it. So,
Okay.
but I need a business license and I need a fictitious name. So
Okay.
Interesting. So you have a game plan. So we're
I
at
really
this point,
do.
it's short term. Okay.
Alright.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks for sharing. What about attend the? Help me with that.
BayFaba.
BayFaba convention.
So Face and Body Art Convention, and that takes place in 6 months, and I just need I would have 6 months to save. Probably about $800 would cover me for the whole thing. So I think that's short term.
Okay. What everyone's.
I think, yeah, short term.
Yeah.
9, eat healthier, eat more veggies, eat out less. So that's kind of a multifaceted one. Got a whole lot going on. If you're eating out less, that means you're cooking more. So what are everyone's thoughts on that?
I think short term, but then, I mean that one could kind of go short and long term too if it's something that you are consistent with.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
10, swim better.
That was my goal, and I think that's very short term. I mean, my gym doesn't have a pool, but I could always just go swim in the creek or something.
If there was water.
Yeah.
California drought.
Alright, putting it in the short term. Develop new cooking techniques.
That's very short term. I can use a cookbook and be daring enough to eat some bad food the first couple times you try it.
Is that what
Every
it means?
time, I don't watch cooking shows very often, but whenever I watch Rachel Ray or Giada cooking whatever at home with her, anyway, I always I have to cook what they cook, and so it's always inspiring.
Yeah.
I think if you want to do it, you can do it.
What about you, Sarah? What do you think on that one?
I think it's definitely achievable right away.
Okay, so put that in the short term. And wake up earlier.
Short term.
You got tomorrow morning to start.
Yeah, I guess that means I have to get up early tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely short term.
Alright. So the reason we did this is just to get a visual. I didn't expect it. Look, everybody's is in the short term. So what are your thoughts about that? I didn't expect that coming in. So what are your thoughts? What are your
really
feelings? What are you
exciting.
feeling?
It's really exciting to realize, guys, we could do this. We can actually get this
Yeah.
rolling if we want to. Which we do, because it's on the paper, so we can do it.
What do you think, Sarah?
Well, it's exciting to know that I don't know why, but the 3 goals that I decided to put down are all, short-term goals. I think that's interesting because normally I put things off till way, and it takes forever to do. But so this.
How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel excited. A fire under my butt. It's good.
How about you, Lauren?
Well, as being the only advocate from the long term, I think that just reflects where I'm at in my life right now. I'm definitely in a transitional period, and I will say that, I think I set a good chunk of short-term goals a few months ago that are just now coming to fruition, and I'm making happen. And so I'm super excited when I graduate in less than a month. I'm going to be walking down that thing. So I mean, I think I'm at a period right now where it's just about setting some new short-term goals to be stepping stones to the long-term goals that I now have, because I've sort of just finished a long-term goal that was set a long time ago.
So going back to what Josh said, some goals might be a little short and long, and some things that you're doing now, or maybe something you're doing in the short term, will be a stepping stone or lead to a long-term goal. So kind of a hybrid of the two.
And I'm doing them. So
I think that shows that you're shooting for the stars too, which is,
Perspective.
don't, if you feel like, oh, I'm the only one there, I feel bad. Like, no, you're really.
Do you feel bad?
No, at first maybe I was a little bit like, oh, maybe I haven't set enough, along the way. Maybe my life is a little out of balance at the moment, which I can honestly say, yeah, I do feel a little, unbalanced. But I think that that's just because I need to focus on getting the things done that I've set for myself now. I am getting those done, and then, luckily I'll have sort of this transitional period to set a couple more short-term ones that I can start in the next 6 months, and then
So what are
proceed.
all of your feelings about long-term goals? I mean, you see there's a lot of short and not very long, but do you feel any different than what Lauren was just talking about at all?
Not really, no.
There's nothing wrong with it.
For
just
me, like,
different.
I feel like the long-term goals, like starting a family, I mean, I've already done all that, so
it's a stage of the game where
yeah,
you're at.
it is a stage of the game, for
Yeah,
sure.
different life stages and things like that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think I put that one on there because that one used to be one that I pushed way, way, way in the future, and I think definitely grad school originally was supposed to come way before that, but now I'm starting to think, if it's going to take a year, maybe 2 to get into grad school, would it be so terrible having a toddler in grad school? Would that be such a terrible thing? Definitely I wouldn't want to be pregnant and, raising an infant in grad school, but would it be so bad to have a child that's already about there?
So still thinking things through.
Yeah,
and
like,
that's a long-term commitment to have to think through. It's not something, a goal you've achieved. It's an ongoing.
Yeah.
Once you've then achieved it, it's ongoing for 18 years at least, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I could. There's nothing wrong with accomplishing 1 and 2 with a child. There's no reason a mother can't accomplish those things, as you are mothers, both of you accomplishing similar things in your life. So, I mean, if anything, you're
I
probably
have
inspired.
breastfed while doing a quiz.
I'm just saying, it's not impossible.
That is true.
I don't think I'd want to be pregnant and going to school, because being pregnant makes you a little cuckoo, and I already don't deal with stress very well. But I think if I already had my kid and we were settled,
Thinking
like,
through
it wouldn't be
things
so awful. So in the meantime, why not?
What about you, Josh? How do you feel when you see the short term versus the long term? How do you feel? What are your feelings?
Oh, well, I'm excited that I feel like my goals at the moment are more immediate, and there's not much stopping me from taking the first step to accomplishing them.
So is that what you feel too, or how do you feel?
Yeah, that's what gets me through the whole 30-pounder thing, is that that nothing's preventing me from taking that first step.
So aside from excitement, it seems like it's motivating. Okay. All right. So good stuff going on with both. Nothing wrong with either, but the short term says, hey, we could do this right now. Wow. Okay, good. That's a positive note to leave it on. I'm glad you feel that way. Does anybody else have any questions or want to share anything else? Any thoughts?
Oh, I actually wanted to say, Patrick, who was at the last meeting, who couldn't be here tonight, he had a goal of teaching his dog Maverick to run, and the very next day after this meeting, he tried it, and it's been the most gratifying, wonderful thing.
So done. He's done with the goal.
Yeah.
What? Before our third
Already.
session? Already?
Yeah.
Pat?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's sweet.
That's cool.
Good. All right, well, thanks, everybody. Basically, the homework is going to be to kind of think about all this with the SMART acronym in mind that we learned in the first session. The third session, what we're going to be doing, the third session, what we're going to do is actually picking a goal. So keep it in mind what goal you might want to pick, because then you guys are going to help one another get a plan in place so you can execute. All right, so thanks for being here. I appreciate your time. And if there's no other questions or anything.
No?
Okay.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.